Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we're covering a fascinating courtroom case from Thurston County involving a self-described sovereign citizen who has an upcoming jury trial. I've been following this case closely and have gathered footage from multiple hearings. This video brings everything together in one place, so you have the full context before his next court appearance. Let's get into it.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Valentine, whose matters, I believe, are at the end of the calendar, numbers 26, 27, and he has declined counsel and would like to proceed on his own. I believe
Mr. Valentine, you had an attorney appointed, and then you didn't come back the way we needed to come back way back in March. So you got an attorney sitting there, an experienced criminal defense attorney might help you. Would you like to take the advantage of having Thurston County Public Defense represent you again?
No, ma'am.
Can you tell me why?
Because I would like to proceed sui juris, because I believe I have my best interests, and I don't think anyone else in this court has my best interests for me.
That has to be one of the weakest justifications I've heard for someone choosing to represent themselves in a criminal trial, where losing your freedom is a very real outcome. Let me put it into perspective. Imagine you're in Los Angeles and you've just been diagnosed with a life-threatening condition. You have 24 hours to reach New York for treatment. Now ask yourself, would you turn down a qualified pilot just so you could fly the plane yourself? Of course not. Now, there's absolutely a time and place for handling things on your own. Tying your shoes, getting dressed, putting on your helmet. Nobody needs to hire a professional for that. But there are moments in life where the stakes are simply too high to go it alone. Flying an aircraft, performing brain surgery, or defending yourself in a court of law. This is one of those moments.
Okay. All right. Well, first, there are a couple of warrants. I'm going to turn to the prosecuting attorney, Mr. Abid, first, and see what their recommendation is on this warrant return, and then I'll turn to you. So I'll just allow you to represent yourself today as you want to. Mr. Abid?
Your Honor, the state would object to releasing Mr. Valentine, and the alternative, the state asks that the court set substantial bail on both of these matters. The first one, ending in the cause number 693, is a case. It's an old case. Mr. Valentine, I'm seeing, has substantial failure to appear history. This is sorry, Your Honor. Mr. Valentine was on warrant status for a significant period of time. In March, the court issued a $15,000 warrant on each case. The court, Your Honor, or the state, Your Honor, asks that the court impose bail in the same amount as the warrants.
And this is first DUI from November of 2021, and then the second allegation, January of 2024.
Correct. And
were these, one, it appears, was an allegation of a breath sample of 0.14, and the other from 2024, do you know the allegation?
My notes show that the 2024 allegation was included a refusal.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Valentine, what the state's asking me to do is have you post about $30,000 cash or a bond bail, and consider those same restrictions that were on you before, that you show up at pretrial services, that you stay clean and sober, you stay law-abiding, you give UAs, you be on a device that's attached to your person to make sure you're not consuming alcohol. What do you have to say?
I object to that, Your Honor. I did make my best effort to show up at court, even when I didn't show up, because I was confused about the dates. The clerk told me the wrong date. I showed up. I gave the clerk a letter. I wrote a letter to the court, and I also wrote counterclaims and responses to the State Attorney General's office, and I got no response from either. I went to try to squash the warrant. They told me that they wouldn't squash the warrant. They wanted me to either turn myself in, or they wanted to to get me to pay more bonds, I have absolutely no problem showing up and representing myself. As far as what was the next thing? As far as these charges that are against me, I wanted to be clear that I am not a person. I'm not a legal entity. I'm a living man, and I want to enforce my constitutional rights. I have the right to drive without a license. I don't need a license. The Supreme Court has proven that many times. And it is also my understanding that this is a Nisi Prius court, and I would like to implement Rule Nisi. If the prosecutor has a valid contract between us, I would like him to produce it. If not, I do not wish to contract with any members of this court.
First and foremost, you entered into a legal obligation with this court the moment you chose to drive under the influence on a public road. That decision alone established jurisdiction. Now, regarding your claim that this is a Nisi Prius court and your attempt to invoke Rule Nisi, let's clear this up. A Nisi Prius court is simply a court of original jurisdiction, meaning it is the first court to hear a case. According to law.com, the two terms are directly interchangeable. So when you stood in this courtroom and declared that this is a Nisi Prius court, you were actually confirming that this court has full and proper jurisdiction over your case, directly contradicting the argument you make later that this court holds no jurisdiction over you whatsoever. As for Rule Nisi, it is a court order that takes effect after a set period of time, only if the opposing party fails to respond. It is issued exclusively by a judge. You are not a judge. Therefore, you will not be implementing any Rule Nisi today.
And it is also my understanding that this is a Nisi Prius court, and I would like to implement Rule Nisi.
Moving on to his next court hearing. This time, his entire family was present in the courtroom.
Well, Mr. Valentine, I'm going to hold you on $15,000 cash or bond bail on each of these independently. So you'd have to post bond to be released, as I find that you're a risk to reoffend and a risk to commit, another DUI or vehicular assault or homicide, given the history, while under the influence. So you're a danger to the community is what I'm finding. And you don't come back when we order you to come back, and you don't comply with court orders. So $15,000 cash or bond has to be posted on each one of these separately. And then you have to get yourself into pretrial services within 48 hours of release and have a scram device attached, stay clean and sober, stay law abiding, in order to stay out of custody. No alcohol, no marijuana, no non-prescribed drugs, no bars or taverns, and don't drive unless you have a good license and proof of insurance. I'm going to set another court date. We would do this.
What jurisdiction is this court operating under, Your Honor?
Thurston County District Court here in the state of Washington.
Well, what jurisdiction are you trialing me under?
What jurisdiction? Thurston County District Court, Thurston County, state of Washington.
So is this under a common law jurisdiction?
I'll have you research all that yourself, sir. I'm not going to argue with you. I have jurisdiction over you and over this matter.
So is this court operating common law, ma'am?
I'm talking to my clerk. 1 second. And make it clear to Ed that he's proceeding pro se and that we need to do.
I am not pro se. I'm a seri juris.
All right. You're proceeding without an attorney.
Did you take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States, ma'am? The Supreme Law of the
I
Union?
sure did. I take it every time I get reelected, and I take it very seriously.
Will you be honoring that?
Very seriously.
Are you going to be honoring that
No,
oath
it's
today,
a
ma'am?
free trial, and then we'll get it set for confirmation and jury dates.
Are you honoring that oath today, ma'am?
I sure am. And I do it every day.
So you think I'm a person?
I sure do.
So you think I can be bought and sold and regulated? You think I'm a persona, that I live in the likeness of another?
And that wraps up that hearing. A fairly straightforward proceeding, though not without the usual sovereign citizen arguments. On the bright side, at least he had his whole family there to witness it.